Can I ask everyone to please rise and welcome Ashley Mills, who's going to sing the national anthem for this afternoon.
So proudly we hail at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and rockets declare the bombs bursting in air gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave for the land of the free and the home of the brave.
Okay. Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for joining us today for the commencement ceremony honoring the spring class of 2024. Along with the graduates, we recognize the sacrifices you as families have made over the past year supporting your students. We're happy to be able to honor these graduates today. Today, we gather to recognize 15 outstanding men and women who have completed an incredibly rigorous course of instruction to earn the Bachelor of Mortuary Science degree or the Associate of Applied Science degree in Mortuary Science. Our graduates hail from 6 different states. 7 are graduating having earned Latin honors, and 1 has earned a perfect 4.0 GPA. We are honored today to be joined by Mr. Thomas Routson, our keynote speaker. Ladies and gentlemen, members of the Board of Trustees, faculty, staff, and future funeral directors, today it's my honor to introduce a distinguished individual who has devoted a significant part of his life to the funeral service profession. T.R. earned a bachelor's degree from Albion College in 1979 and graduated from the Cincinnati College of Mortuary Science in 1981. Since then, T.R. not only embraced the responsibilities of a licensed funeral director and embalmer in Ohio, but has also achieved various certifications and memberships that demonstrate a dedication to continuous learning and professional development. As the president of Routson Funeral Home and Cremation Services, he has led with compassion, guiding families through one of the most challenging times of their lives. Moreover, our speaker extends his expertise into diverse realms as the owner of Routson Pet Loss, Routson Insurance Agency, Routson Realty, and even Routson Coffee of Ohio. The extensive list of professional licenses, including certified pre-planning sales manager, certified funeral service practitioner, and membership in organizations like NFDA, ICCFA, and CANA, reflects not only a commitment to excellence, but also a desire to contribute to the profession at a broader level. His involvement in legislative and political committees such as the Montgomery County GOP Executive Committee showcases a commitment to community service and civic engagement. In addition to his remarkable professional achievements, our speaker is deeply involved in civic activities, contributing to organizations like Dayton Lodge F&AM, Oakwood Rotary, where he served as past president, and the Cystic Fibrosis Foundation Dayton chapter, where he has been a board member since 1982. In these various roles, our speaker has not only demonstrated expertise in funeral service, but also shown a profound commitment to community and service, embodying the values that are crucial in the field of funeral directing. It is an honor to have him here today and to share his insights and expertise with our graduates. Please join me in welcoming a true leader in the funeral service profession, an individual who exemplifies excellence and compassion, TR round sign.
That was a nice obituary. Can you guys hear me in the back? Is that all good?
Yeah.
You know, 45 plus years ago, I was sitting where you were. And I wasn't sure if Dave Fitzsimmons put my diploma in there or not. Because there was this deep question about if I was going to graduate that day. I was really happy when it was. I checked them all out, and there's one that's not in there, so not to worry, you guys. You ever get out your cell phone and voice text? Hey, how you doing? You know, blah, 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 blah. Do you want to change it or send it? Send. Put it in your pocket, right? And later on, you go back to that cell phone, and you go, oh my God, what did I just say to somebody? Can I get it back? Can I get it back? Or how about if you're out and you're talking to somebody and you say something and you go, oh my God, why did I say that? That's such a stupid question. I was at a friend's house and he had just sold his company for $2.7 billion. I don't know about you, but that's a definite mark of my financial radar screen. And we were standing around, he was holding court, and he was talking about different things that made him successful and blah, 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 blah. But I raised my hand and said, hey, Clay, what are you going to do with your life now that you sold the business? And I thought, TR, you idiot. He just sold his company for $2.7 billion. He can do about anything he wants to do. And I was really amazed at his answers, which I want to share with you guys today. His first comment was, TR, thank you so very much for asking that question. A man of great integrity and character. He then went in to say, I would like to explain to you why I think I've been so successful. And he said, the first third of your life, you use building your toolbox with all the tools you'll need for later on in life. And he said, I'd like to define the toolbox to you. He said, in that toolbox is your moral fiber. Learning what's right and what's wrong, what's good and what's evil. Who you can trust. He said, the second thing is the first time you catch somebody's eye, or you hold their hand, your first kiss, your first relationship, and your first heartbreak. Said the third, the third thing he was talking about when he was talking about was how friends and family are so important around you. But he also talked about education, which we would assume today. Education like preschool, kindergarten, grade school, college, high school, bachelor's degree, maybe a doctorate. But he said all those things are put in your toolbox to prepare you for the second stage of your life, which is building wealth. Take class at CCMS 2024. Your toolbox is full. Being and going to this college, all your parents, all your professors know you are ready for your second stage in life. But he also mentioned about wealth and how he defined wealth. He said, I define wealth as faith, family, friends, and business associates. Now here's a man that obviously has enough money to survive. He never mentioned about money, stocks, bonds. kind of financial assets that you and I would think of that we relate to. But he said, you know, TR, he goes, faith is the foundation of all moral decisions. It is your lightning rod to go back for any solution that you have. A person that doesn't have a good faith structure can never be trusted because they can never be held accountable for their actions. He says family, number 2, in creating wealth is important because it's the passion, it's the love, it's the juice of life that gives you purpose. And third, he said after faith, family, friends, and work associates. I thought it was kind of interesting to put work associates and family, or all this, or work associates and, I just told you. Thank you. Together instead of separating them. So he said, you know, you can never be successful in life in building wealth unless you have family and friends to surround you. Because someday you're going to need them. And the best part of it all, when he said, I am now at the 3rd section of my life. And it's the most exciting section I have. And that is, I get to give it all away. Think about that. Here's a man with such integrity and character that he worked all of his life to give it all away. We started in the funeral business in 1898. My grandfather's brother, Bradford, started a funeral home, and my grandfather worked at a post office. And he had a horse-drawn mail route that took him way out in the country. In order to have his job, he had to have his own horse to deliver the mail. In 1913, 2 tragedies hit Dayton, Ohio. One was a great flood, and the rain came down all 5 rivers, and they all collided in downtown Dayton, and within a few hours, it was 13 feet below water. My grandfather was on the 3rd floor of the post office when he watched his horse and his buggy get washed downstream and died. Several thousand horses died that day. The Postmaster General said, well, sorry about your horse, but it's a requirement of your job, so see you later. So my grandfather went to my uncle and said, hey, do you need a partner in the funeral business? And he said, I'm really swamped. I'd love to have a partner in the funeral business, because the other thing that hit was the 1913 flu epidemic. And I want you to think about COVID back in 1913, because that's exactly what it was. It was a real tragedy hitting our society. It wasn't a few years later that my grandfather found out that his brother-in-law had 3 sets of books. One for himself, his financial books, one set of financial books for my grandfather, and one set of books for the IRS. And none of them matched. So my grandfather was a man of huge integrity. And so he went out, remember that mail route I told you about? He went out to the end of that mail route and bought a house out there and started a funeral home. Well, lo and behold, everybody in downtown Dayton wanted to move up higher on the hill. They didn't trust the fact that their houses would be flooded again. So all those people moved around my grandfather's funeral home. Which brings you back to funeral services' number 1 thing: location, location, location. It was in the perfect spot, the perfect time, at the right moment. Norma died. She was 92, 93 years old. Her husband, Charles, had perished quite a few years earlier And when the phone rang in our home, when you grow up in a funeral home, you realize that we got another death call. That was a good thing. So my dad got out of bed and answered the phone that was in the hallway at the time, and we were considered really well off because we had a phone on the top floor in the hallway, a phone outside the kitchen in the hallway, and we even had a phone in the basement of my mother's laundry room. And that was considered bad. So the attorney that called Dad and was taking care of Norma's estate said he'd be in at 10 o'clock the next morning, and they got together. When the attorney walked in, he was a friend of my father's and trusted my dad, and said, "Don't worry, money is no object, spend as much as you want." Now, for most funeral homes, and a lot of funeral directors, they would be going like this. They're going, copper deposit, we're going to use a Clark 12 gauge. Well, it's going to be awesome. But my father chose the same casket that she selected for her husband, a 16-gauge casket. A glass-covered concrete air seal, not a really expensive vault. He did get her some beautiful flowers for on the top of her casket. And when it came time for the service, there were 3 people there. There was my father, the minister, and our door guy. No other flowers. Nobody else cared. So back then, we used to use the off-duty policemen for carrying the casket. They got $20 for carrying the casket, and they thought that was great money. They called it cash and carry. So my dad went downstairs, and they usually down smoking, drinking coffee and stuff, and had him come up and sit in the pews so they weren't empty. He went over and he got extra flowers that were left over from a service that morning and put them around Norma's casket. He got the rest of the staff out of our funeral home so we'd come in and fill more seats so it didn't look like it was so empty. My father taught me more about integrity and doing the right thing in that moment than any book or ethics class I ever took. Because my dad didn't think anybody was watching. But there was somebody watching. And that person was me. You know, integrity is something that you do when nobody's watching. And I think that's a beautiful example of that. We had an embalmer that went out on a death call. And when they got to the family's house, it was a mansion. Beautiful place. They were very well off. And the family was there, and they're kind of scattered around the house, and they were looking for something. Obviously looking diligently for something. And we didn't have any clue of what it was. Well, they said that Mom had a lot of jewelry, and she always thought that a woman should always wear her jewelry. Can we come in the afternoon to do the funeral arrangements? Dad said, sure. So when this embalmer got back to the funeral home and was preparing her body, he found little pouches sewn in her garments that were full of diamonds, bracelets, brooches, necklaces, earrings, hundreds of thousands of dollars worth of jewelry. Now, nobody knew. And this embalmer knew that nobody knew. Nobody would be able to catch it. Nobody, the family didn't even know where her jewelry was. But the embalmer called my father. They itemized out everything on the list and gave it back to that family the next day. I was interviewing somebody a few years ago for an embalmer job, and I know she had worked at my competitors for years, and I thought she was happy there. And when I asked her why she wanted to leave, she said that they weren't necessarily doing the right things that she agreed with. I said, what was that? So, if you don't mind telling me, she goes, well, my family came in to pick up their mom's cremated remains. And I went back to my cremation manager who ran the crematory, the inventory. And he said, I don't have her processed yet. He grabbed another bag of cremates, put it in a box, slapped the lady's name on it here, and he goes, here, give it to them. They'll never know the difference. They all look the same. You know, we have a study group that's really very important to me. I have made a lot of cherished friends in this study group. Gary Freitag's in it, Jack's in it, a lot of Ernie Hefner, Mark Krause. These are names of funeral directors that I would love to emulate. Well, I have to tell you, I'm standing up here and I'm going to admit something to you, that I really messed up. And what I did was, I had a bookkeeper, but I didn't keep my thumb on too much. And one day I was wondering where my taxes were. So I called her in the office and said, hey, where are my taxes? I don't know. I don't know. I sent them to the CPA. And she didn't know it, but I had the CPA on speakerphone. And the CPA goes, it's a lie. So she left my office quickly. She came back about 15 minutes later. My daughter has been ill, and I got to rush to go get her. That should be red flag number 2. The next day, she didn't come in. Red flag number 3. And I started getting all these calls from creditors and everything that she used to filter. When I turned around, finally got everything put together, I found out that I was about $1.2 million in debt. I thought I had lost absolutely everything. I was devastated. And when you get in that kind of position, you talk to everybody. You talk to God, you talk to your family, you talk to your friends, you talk a lot to creditors and the bank people. Matter of fact, they're calling you when you're in that kind of position. So I called a very good ear, and somebody I trust and love very much, Dan Dwyer, who's sitting with us tonight. His daughter's graduating. And unbeknownst to me, Dan got his truck and drove down from Detroit to sit in my office to hear my story. And as Dan, and only Dan can do, gave me a verbal kick in the ass and told me to fix my company. You will never be successful unless you surround yourself with great people like Dan. I will never be able to thank him, but tell me how much that meant to me. But if you don't put your trust and faith in good friends that'll come and kick your ass when you need it, you'll never be successful. I fixed the company, and I was in a merger and acquisition mode, and we purchased one other funeral home and stuff because my boys had joined me in the business. Very proud moment. Over 105 years old, 4th generation. I was a proud papa. I go to, this guy knew I was out knocking on doors and trying to find other funeral homes to buy. And he said, hey, why don't you come up and see my funeral home? My wife and I are in the mood to sell. I said, great. Right up my alley, be right up. So I went in, yard was immaculate, met the gentleman, just fine distinguished gentleman. His wife was like my grandmother. She's such a sweet lady. And you know, we sat down and the place was tired and needed a little work, but I think it was a doable. thing for the price he was asking. But then he said, I'm going to give you a $279,456 discount. I said, really? And when you consider the discount versus the value of the funeral home, it was way off. There's no way you should have taken this much money off it. And I said, can I ask why that is? He goes, yeah, you know, things have been a little slow here for my wife and I, and we have this level that we like to live in. And so I kind of cashed in some of the pre-needs that we needed to buy, and that's what the discount is. I said, let me get this right. I said, I don't know if you guys know this, it's probably on your national board test, but to collect money on a pre-need, you have to have a dead body that goes along with it. Does that make sense? You got one question right. There was a friend of mine and a mentor who graduated from this college. When he left that college, he became friends and business associates of funeral directors literally all over the world. I love this man dearly. He used to stand like this. No. I worked for Heafy and Heafy Undertakers. Ring a bell to anybody? Todd and I had dinner just a couple of weeks beforehand, and I loved his stories. Fabulous, fabulous stories. How hospice started. Who invented the ambulance? Who invented the telephone switching service? I mean, you guys have heard, and he'd stand up to me. Mr. Heafy would never let you get away with this. He built an incredible wealth of friends in our industry. And I can't tell you all that are sitting here how lucky you were that he was such a God's gift to us. He had so much integrity that he gave it all away to you. You are going to be fabulous funeral directors because of what Todd taught you. See, some of these diplomas that are sitting up here, you might think that's a right to go. I'm going to tell you that you're going to receive something better today than these diplomas. And that's what I call a sacred right. You are going to receive a sacred right to care for the dead. You're going to receive a sacred right to take that family from darkness to light. And don't underestimate yourself. That is a huge freaking responsibility. If you think about it, this is dumbfounding. A person picks up the phone and calls somebody that they don't know and says, hi, this is Mrs. So-so. My child just died. I'm going to give you my child to somebody that they don't know, and they trust you with the sacred right that you're going to help them through this end-of-life process. Does that boggle anybody else's mind but mine? That's an amazing responsibility. You're going to have that responsibility. Don't take it lightly. Integrity. Integrity is the greatest thing in life that you will be judged at your final reckoning. Neither success nor failure, how many bodies you involved, how many families you saw, how much you wrote in pre-need will make a damn bit of difference at your final reckoning. People will stand by your casket and wonder if you had integrity. Don't ever lose your integrity to do your job in this business. Ask you a couple of questions. Do you think, when you look up the definition of integrity. Do you think my friend Clay Matteel's going to be in that book? Absolutely. Do you think my grandfather's brother-in-law is going to be in that book? Not a frickin' chance. Do you think my father, who taught me about integrity, is going to be in that book? No question in my mind. Do you think that crematory operator who decided to give cremains of anybody to anybody, do you think his name's going to be in that book? Not a whole snowball's chance in hell would he be in that book. Do you think my friends, the ones that are there to support and who love me, like Dan, do you think their name's going to be in that book? Absolutely. No question about it. What about that embalmer who found all those jewels? You think that person's name's going to be in that book? I certainly hope so, because that was me. Do you think that man and his wife who embezzled all those pre-need funds from their clients, think their names are going to be in that book? Don't think so. Do you think my friend and mentor, Todd Beck's name's going to be in that book? I'll bet you he's the top of the list, because that's the kind of person he was. So, CCMS class 2024. Got a huge responsibility. My question is, when you get done, is your name going to be in that book also? God bless you. I wish you all the best.
Upon the recommendation of the faculty of the Cincinnati College of Mortuary Science and in consideration of all conditions for which these degrees pertain, it is my pleasure to present the candidates who have completed all academic degree requirements for the Bachelor of Mortuary Science or the Associate of Applied Science in Mortuary Science degree. My faculty colleagues and I are proud of these candidates and their accomplishments. President Lechner, will you please do the honor of conferring degrees to these candidates?
And would the graduates please rise for the conferring of the degrees? By the power vested in me as president of the Cincinnati College of Mortuary Science, the state of Ohio, the Ohio Department of Higher Education, the Higher Learning Commission, the American Board of Funeral Service Education, the College Board of Trustees, and in conjunction with the faculty of the Cincinnati College of Mortuary Science, I hereby confer the Bachelor of Mortuary Science and Associate of Applied Science and Mortuary Science degrees to the representative candidates of the Spring 2024 graduating class, with all the rights and privileges hereforth. You may now move your tassel from the right to the left. And then, congratulations. Please allow me to be the first to call you alumni of the Cincinnati College of Mortuary Science.
we welcome to the front several members of our Board of Trustees who join us in congratulating the graduates. It's now time for the graduates to come forward by row to be individually recognized. Several graduates are wearing honors cords. Bronze cords are worn by cum laude graduates who have a final grade point average of 3.5 to 3.69. Magna cum laude graduates complete with a 3.7 to 3.84 GPA and wear silver cords. And gold cords are reserved for summa cum laude graduates with a 3.85 to a 4.0 grade point average. Lindsay Ann Cantor, Columbus, Ohio. Lindsay.
Congratulations.
Thank you very much.
Hannah Gail Druckman, Springfield, Ohio. Hannah graduated. Hannah graduates summa cum laude.
Hi, Hannah, congratulations.
Quinn Heston Dwyer, New Boston, Michigan.
Hey, Quinn, congratulations.
Laura Dye, Howell, Ohio. Laura graduates cum laude.
Congratulations.
Kiara Gallegos, Brighton, Colorado. Kiara graduates cum laude. Drew Gray, Napoleon, Ohio.
Drew, good job, buddy. Congratulations.
Lauren Caitlin Hill, Flemingsburg, Kentucky. Madison Lauren Lowry, Memphis, Tennessee. Stephanie Masters, Caldwell, Ohio. Stephanie graduates cum laude. Ella Rose Rex, Wapakoneta, Ohio. Ella graduates summa cum laude. Loudon Salbeamer, Dayton, Ohio. Michaela Taylor Sauceda, Fremont, Ohio. Marissa Shutera, Dayton, Ohio. Marissa graduates cum laude. James Triplett, Milwaukee, Wisconsin. Kelly Wilson, Springboro, Ohio. Kelly graduates summa cum laude. Let's give our graduates one more round of applause.
Will the graduates please rise for the reading of the commission? My vocation is worthy. It affords me a distinct opportunity to serve society. The ideals of my profession are high, as summarized in the Golden Rule. All things whatsoever ye would that men should do unto you, do ye even so unto them. I will deal reverently with all deceased members of society. I will follow those who before my calling was a profession labored for the sake of service itself. I will extend helpful service to all who are bereaved, doing for them according to my needs where the conditions reversed. I shall seek ways and means to amplify this service which I shall perform. I will share with others whatever I learn, thus upbuilding the profession of which I am a member. Graduates, if you agree to the precepts set forth in this commission, please say, I will.
I will.
You may be seated. At this time, I would like to invite Class President Ella Rex to the stage to address her fellow graduates.
Good afternoon. We all would not be in these seats today if it wasn't for the support we have received from family, friends, and our mentors within the walls of CCMS. During times of self-doubt, they tell us that we are more than capable. In times of exhaustion, they push us to keep persevering. In times of chaos, they steady us and keep us sane. And for our victories, they too celebrate with us. I encourage you all to take a few moments today and tell each and every one of them how much they have impacted you. Robert Frost said, "Two roads diverged in a wood, and I took the one less traveled by, and that has made all the difference." Family and friends, your graduate has chosen a road that is far less traveled than others. It is a road that has and will continue to be winding, filled with sharp curves, steep hills, and an occasional pothole. When your graduate chose this road, they displayed immense courage. They made a commitment to caring for humanity during life's tragedies, a commitment to honoring the legacies of the departed. There is no guarantee that this road will be a gentle one. Our bike may get swept out from under us, and we may hit the pavement with scrapes and bruises to show for it. We may pedal tirelessly up a hill, unable to see a break in the horizon, lungs sore and dripping sweat. This road may not be the prettiest one, but its destination is breathtaking. We all have that same vision, that same end goal where impact is felt, where we touch people's lives and give solace to the weary. The vision has always been there, but now we have the ability to carry out the calling. We have put in the work, we have shown that we have what it takes, and we are getting ready to begin a journey that is much greater than ourselves. We all have had unique journeys that have led us to this point. We come from different backgrounds, different cities, a few different generations, but we all showed up in those auditorium seats at CCMS in January of 2023. And maybe it was fate, but whatever it was, I'm eternally grateful. The 15 of us had the opportunity to get to know each other on a personal level, sometimes a little too personal. Regardless, I know that we all can say we are changed for good. I promised my classmates that I would include a personal reference to each and every one of them in my speech. And since there are only 15 of us, I didn't have many excuses not to do so. So here goes. Drew, I hope you didn't eat a Hot Pocket this morning. Michaela, you'll always be remembered for pulling out your hairbrush in the middle of a lecture to brush your hair. If you forgot your hairbrush, it was a bad day. Quinn, I think you painted your nails in every room at CCMS. Jim, we'll all remember your signature snacks, Cheetos and king-size Reese's cups. Lindsay, we'll always admire your dedication to a jog outside, or even a trip to the grocery store in between classes. Lauren, we'll always remember your Kentucky accent and your hatred of burgers. Kiara, you'll always be the one from Colorado. Loudon, you'll always be remembered for rushing to McDonald's in between classes to grab a double cheeseburger and a caramel crab bag. Madison, we'll all remember your hatred of the smell of vanilla. Kelly, you'll forever be the cool mom and the glue that held us all together. Hannah, we'll all remember your daily large Monster energy drink. Stephanie, we'll all remember your infectious laugh, your Lunchables, and your Bob's Burgers obsession. Marissa, we'll all remember your many pairs of crazy socks, Lakin, we'll all remember your silly goofiness, but now that you've graduated, I need to seriously ask you, do you want a medal? We have been privileged to learn from the staff at CCMS, from studying the technical aspects of funeral service through courses like embalming theory, business law, and restorative art, to diving into courses like psychology of grief and social aspects. We have been able to pick their brains and soak up their knowledge. The effort they put forth into our success is invaluable. We all had the pleasure of knowing and being taught by Mr. Todd Van Beck. He was extremely wise, witty, and he told us stories that captivated us. He took pride in educating us baby undertakers, and he shared with us several times the poem, The Undertaker by Bennett Chappell, that I would love to share with you all just one more time.
I'm going to tell you that it's been my honor to be working with you on this, because it does my heart good to see young people with a hope and a dream in their mind and their heart to push it ahead. The little verse goes this way, and I hope you'll find some value in it. It says, the midnight hour, the darkest hour that human grief may know, sends forth its hurried summons and asks me to come, I go. I know not where the blow may fall. I know not for whom the bell may toll. I only know that I must go and answer to their call. Perhaps a friend, perhaps unknown, it is fate that turns that wheel. The tangled schemes in human life wind slowly on the reel. And I'm the undertaker. Cold-blooded, you'll hear some say, trained to the shock and chill of death with a heart that is cold and gray. Trained, is that what they call it? How little they know the rest. I'm human and well understand the sorrow that throbs in the aching breast. God bless you all. Thank you for your good work. And if I can be of service to you, all you've got to do is reach out. And if I've got it, it's yours. I'm going to tell you that it's
It is a pleasure to present for special recognition certain members of the graduating class who have demonstrated outstanding characteristics of motivation, aptitude, and skill. We will first explain the premise of each award, followed by the name of the graduate being honored. At the time, the graduate will please come forward and receive their honor. With careful consideration of the criteria by the faculty and with approval of the president, the following awards and recognitions have been authorized. Class President Recognition. The President of 2024 Spring Graduating Class serves as a leader for her cohort and the college. With gratitude for her dedication, professionalism, and thoughtful service, it is our pleasure to recognize Class President Ella Rex. The Dr. Albert J. Nunemaker Memorial Award. This award honors the extensive contribution of Dr. Nunemaker to the history and educational foundation of the Cincinnati College of Mortuary Science. Dr. Nunemaker was one of the pioneer academicians in the art and science of embalming. Dr. Nunemaker was also a co-author, along with CCMS President Charles Donnell. Together, they created Donnell-Nunemaker's series of textbooks, which served as the standard textbooks in embalming education for half a century. This award is presented in recognition of the individual with the highest class standing, and today's recipient earned a perfect 4.0. CCMS is honored to present this award to Kelly Wilson. The Dr. Slichter Memorial Award. The Dr. George M. Slichter Award also recognizes outstanding scholastic achievement. Dr. Slichter served on the CCMS faculty for over 45 years and was a former director of CCMS. This award is presented to recognize the individual with the second highest class standing. This award goes to Hannah Drummond. The James C. Lyerly Management Award. This award is given in memory of Mr. Lyerly, a 1948 graduate of CCMS who always held high regard for the college. After graduation from Catawba College and service in the U.S. Marines in World War II, he attended CCMS. In 1957, he started the Lyerly Funeral Home and was owner of that firm until his unexpected death in 1987. At that time, he was also president-elect of the North Carolina Funeral Directors. This honor is presented to the student who displays both scholastic achievement and potential for outstanding business and management skills. We are pleased to present this award to Kelly Wilson. The Homer D. Leffler Award for Funeral Directing. This award honors the memory of Mr. Homer Leffler, who was a longtime member of the CCMS Board of Trustees. It is given in recognition of outstanding potential for excellence in ethical and compassionate service, community relations, and personal and professional development. This award is presented to Loudon Salby.
Award. This award is given in memory of Ivan P. Bosher. He was a World War I veteran and graduated from CCMS in 1921. As a student, he was recognized as a gifted restorative artist and was invited to join the faculty upon graduation. He was an innovative teacher and established the art of facial restoration as part of the standard CCMS curriculum. This award goes to the student who not only maintained the highest course grade in the restorative art class, but also demonstrated a high degree of skill in the art of restoration in the restorative art lab. The award is presented to Lord Nye. The Charles O. Donell Embalming Award is affectionately given in memory of Charles O. Donell, an influential leader in the field of modern embalming and mortuary science and a fierce advocate for the academic advancement of mortuary education. He was also the second president of CCMS, serving in that capacity for an astonishing 66 years. The award is granted to the student displaying the highest competence in both embalming theory and clinical application, and is presented to Hannah Drummond. Our next award is sponsored by the Ohio Embalmers Association, which was founded in 1931 and has since been a premier technical continuing education provider in Ohio, consistently offering high-quality educational seminars for professional embalmers and funeral directors. I'd like to welcome OEA Treasurer Bill Peoples to present this award.
Thank you, John. As a 1970 graduate of CCMS, I feel honored to be here today. This award is sponsored by the Ohio Embalmers Association. It is given to the student who demonstrates both theory and practical knowledge in the clinical setting. The award honors Lester Wakeham and Robert Inman. Both men were influential in the field of embalming and continuing education. Consideration is given to a student who demonstrates both theory and practical knowledge in the clinical lab. The award, consisting of a plaque and a $500 cash prize, is presented to Drew Gray.
For the Dodge Award is sponsored by Dwayne Hedrick. Dwayne is a CCMS board member and is a Western Ohio representative for the Dodge Chemical Company. The Dodge Company has been serving the profession since 1893. Please help me welcome Dwayne Hedrick to the stage.
An interesting aspect of the CCMS program is that students begin embalming in the clinical lab as early as week 2. CCMS students arrive with varying degrees of experience. Some students have no experience at all, while others arrive at the college adept at embalming. This award is given to the student who began the clinical lab with little or no experience, but worked to become quite proficient in the art and science of embalming by the completion of their mortuary science program. In recognition of the student's significant advancement, I am honored to present this award consisting of a framed certificate and a Dodge embalming kit to Marissa Shutera.
The Ohio Funeral Directors Association, the sponsor of our next award, represents and supports its members by promoting professional standards and excellence in the funeral profession through innovative programs, leadership, and excellence in service. To present our final award, I'm pleased to introduce OFDA past president and licensed funeral director, embalmer, and managing partner with Baker Stevens Paramore Funeral Home, Mr. Lloyd Rankin.
So the OFDA Leadership Award, as you've been told, is sponsored by the Ohio Funeral Directors Association in recognition of a student who displayed good leadership qualities throughout the school year. The recipient's name first will be added to the master plaque, which is displayed at the college. In addition to this, the student will receive a value grant of $500 to be used at an OFDA-sponsored continuing education event. Okay. For those of you who don't know, when you become a licensed funeral director, you have a biannual requirement to complete your continuing education requirements. Second question for you today. 98% there. The recipient of the OFDA Leadership Award has consistently provided overwhelming kindness, care, and support for her students. This was especially noticed in the pet loss course when she readily shared about working in a veterinarian's office, so that all of her classmates could benefit from her experience with her bereaved pet owners. Serving as lab assistant, she was a reliable and steady presence, always willing to lend an extra hand to help instructors and her peers. She also volunteered to serve as a student ambassador at CCMS on Information Day, while helping potential students better understand all that CCMS had to offer them. Everything she did was done with passion and heart. Her positive attitude and willingness to help others never went unnoticed. We are grateful for her contributions to the college, her cohorts, and our profession throughout the past year. So it is my pleasure to present the OFDA Leadership Award to Lauren Hill. So, ladies and gentlemen, this has truly been a special day. 51 years ago, I entered the death care profession. I can tell you that I have cherished every moment as a funeral director, and it is definitely one of the most rewarding and honorable professions that you could ever be involved in. Being a member of the death care profession is difficult, but it is also intensely rewarding because you're given the opportunity to assist bereaved families at their time of need. It is truly a special vocation. I welcome today's graduates to the long line of distinguished graduates of the Cincinnati College of Mortuary Science, a continuous line of graduates that has served across our nation for 142 years. Established in 1882, CCMS is the oldest and best mortuary college in the nation. We like to say we're not the best because we're the oldest because we are the best. You can be justifiably proud of your achievement and justifiably proud of your chosen profession. I wish you the very best and take great pride in now calling you colleagues. I actually took a lot of pleasure walking in the room and calling them students. Before concluding, I'd like to take this opportunity to thank our Board of Trustees. They provided the guidance that has allowed this distinguished institution to flourish for 142 years. Thank you very much for being here with us today. I'd be remiss if I didn't take this opportunity to thank the faculty and staff who made today's ceremony come to fruition. Thank you for all that you do to make days like today possible. Again, I'd like to thank TR for being with us today to inspire our graduates and newest colleagues. I'd also like to thank Spring Grove and all of their staff and our former graduates that are here today for helping make this a special day for all of our students. And ladies and gentlemen, in just a moment, we'll process the graduates from the room, and I ask that you please remain in your seats while we gather them together for a class photo. And then afterwards, there'll be a reception in the rear of the room, so if you can just give us a few minutes to get outside, get congregated, take our photo, and if the board would follow the line of students out, I think it will probably work out correctly this time, that the board would be up front, being at the end of the line going out. As we conclude today's ceremony, I also ask that you please keep all of our nation's servicemen and women who are deployed in harm's way in your thoughts and prayers. God bless the United States of America.
No?